6 tickets to the prize wall. If he wins, he gets 6 tickets to the prize wall. So a fun little mini game that you can play throughout the day.
And he's happy too. I said this, like I was talking to JDZ about how sometimes when you're somebody that people know, the feeling you get when someone's excited to beat you, it's like, it's cool because you're like, wow, you're proud, but then it's also kind of like, well, I lost and you seem really happy. And so Shane and these other 6 or 5 bounty players, they volunteered for the heavy weight of having people be excited to beat them all day. And no one's going to be more excited to beat him than Daniel T, who says, you know, it'd be really, really nice, a win, maybe a tie, but I cannot take a loss right now. And Shane says, yeah, I'm a bounty player. I also want to be a bounty player who's made it to the day too.
So it should be a really fun match here. I got to watch Shane play earlier in the day. I think we saw him in round 2. Fantastic player, pilots Blurple very, very well. I know we've seen a lot of Blurple recently, but if you're looking for somebody who knows the game in and out, it is Shane. And Shane also an old Magic player as well.
Yes.
So somebody who's been around competitive TCGs for a while and pilots his deck brilliantly. Daniel also 6-1, clearly doing very well today. And this Sapphire Emerald deck is something that a lot of higher level players have been bringing into these events. It matches very well into Blurple, and I'm not surprised to see it here challenging for the top cut. Now, as we pointed out, anybody with 2 losses is unlikely to make it, so this is really, you know, do or die for these players. They really need to win this game to keep moving on. A loss most likely puts them out of contention, so it's going to be a really fun match to watch, and you're going to see some top-tier Lorcana. And just like that, it's Dumbo into the Inkwell.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, Dumbo, he's really, people like him. People say he's worth money, but he's also worth 1 ink. And there he is in the Inkwell with Rafiki on board, who's great at challenging. At this point, Shane does not know exactly what he's into, and he still doesn't know a ton. And it can be nice to have that Rafiki there to clean up any pesky little beginning things. And quite frankly, having a 1 cost is always something that is nice, especially in a meta where you might be against something like we saw in round 6 and 7, which was very aggro.
That's true. So we do have the Tipo on turn 2. This deck needs to hit it. There it is. All right, on script, Rafiki questing for 1. Shane off to the lead. Pass back over to Daniel here for turn 2. We'll see what he's up to. Most likely would like to hit that ramp as well.
Yeah, you almost have to, right? Like, it's one of those things where we go, the amount of reactions I've had of missing ramps, like, it's like the worst thing you've ever seen in your life, but we're not going to do it today.
Yeah.
We're not yet anyway, because we hit that illustrious ramp.
Yeah, Tipo coming out on turn 2, getting that body on the board. And we'll pass it back over. So oftentimes with these ramp decks, I mean, the game really starts on turn 3, so.
Yeah, and this is something where, for those at home, you do get to the point where you're like, well, I've seen this matchup. But it's so interesting because every player is going to have this. People say, oh, it's the same 60 cards, but they are a little bit different. And it's kind of, it makes us sound like really nerdy to be like, well, you have to notice it's actually a little bit different. Some have armored, but this is something that we're going to see here. We're going to see what happens when, like, Shane is playing this Dumbo here on curve. We say on curve because it means this is the earliest you can play him. He has nothing he can exert right now. And you get to watch these play lines. And we see Shane having a pretty nice start here.
Yeah, so Dumbo is not a card that you like to play on curve. Typically, you want to play it a little bit later to use your evasive characters immediately. But that's true more in the mirror when your opponent has things like Elsa's, which can respond to it depending on how they've been ramping when you play it. So here, it's probably a little bit safer to play this early and hopefully getting some benefit out of it before it's banished. Over on this side, it doesn't look like Daniel's going to have much to be able to respond to it. Perhaps a Mother Knows Best would be the answer if he's running him, but not. Instead, we're going to get Tipo in another ramp, really powering us into the end game. I do see an answer there potentially for that Dumbo in a turn or next turn, and it's the Hades sitting in his hand. So we're up to 6 ink already with an Under the Sea and Hades in hand, but not a lot of cards right now. So plenty of ink, but cards getting a little low.
Yeah, and it's name an enemy greater to me than White Sleeves are on stream. I'm always like, he's got ink, and then I cross my eyes. But you can see it a little bit. He is ramping. He's making sure he has the answers because both decks need to get to the answers faster. Unfortunately, Shane has been able to get some answers and also get some problems. And here we see one of those problems on the board, and that is Elsa the Fifth Spirit, who is able to kind of take advantage of situations and rush in and take care of some problems.
But man, I mean, depending on the answers that Shane has, we're setting up for a really, really fun turn in a couple turns. If we draw an Inkable here, we need to draw an Inkable here.
If we do, we need to.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not an if, it's when.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so we do have the ink. The ink will put the Hades in play.
Oh, what
There's
an ink
that Clarabelle. Okay, so that should. Oh no, I thought he had 7. 1, 2, 3.
This is why White Sleeves, man. If you are streaming, you could cause me to cry. But I think that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we do know that is an expensive answer. You could only use it once. Maybe he's saying, extend a little bit, Shane. Come closer.
So he might be drawing. So the thing is, so we get the Hades and we have the Under the Sea on board, which is what I was looking at. Hades plus Tipo allows you to sing that and send most of that board away. But Daniel kind of biding his time here. Let's see. So we have another Elsa. Okay.
And here we go. I mean, honestly, that's using an Elsa. So if this is, you've activated my Trap Under the Sea, It's kind of expensive because it is the last thing you can do, depending on what this other card is. I think he has a Hades as well, so it could just be come closer.
There's that Hades. So drew out that Elsa. I think that was available last turn. But drawing out that Elsa there, what patience.
Yeah, and that's something I don't have. I'm always, when I see things like this, I'm like, please, this is killing me. But he's gonna see what else he has here.
Oh,
and
and he's walking right into the under the sea because an Inkable this turn. It's 8. He can hard play it.
And here we go. What is he gonna? Is he gonna keep extending into this under the sea? Going, well, he would have played it if he had it. Now it is the comeback, right? Because I mean, after this, he has to. You can't just play under the sea and say, and that's how you win. But let's see what his evil master plan is. I'll be honest, both me and Liam look like we're waiting for someone to get out of surgery right now. You can't see it, but it's like, how's she doing, Doc? And the answer is, she might be with the fishes.
Yeah, there's moments when you commentate, like you want to fill the silence, but there's moments where you just want the silence to speak for itself and to let the moment develop. And there it is. Like it's the pregnant pause while we're waiting for that. He waited an entire turn, baited him into it, drew out another Elsa and a Genie, sending all of it to the bottom of the deck. Left only with the Hades on board. I think an empty hand now. Like, it looks like one card in hand. But wow, sending everything out there, and
brutal.
Again, just a brutal.
Now the problem is man, Blurple loves to just say, "Well, I'll keep drawing cards" as they push their little Blurple glasses up their nose. But masterful, will it pay off? We shall see. Shane is sitting at a nice, comfortable 14. He's not sitting there at like 2, where he's like, "You did it." So I do think Daniel has a long way to go, but it probably felt good to do such a board wipe on that.
Yeah, so we have the Genie coming up, bounce back to the Elephant. So Genie will be back to draw a card next turn, establishing that 3/7 there.
Yeah, so you are down, but you are certainly not out. And Daniel hasn't been seeing a ton of card draw. He is going to be able to quest with that Hades. He is sitting here with a fair amount of ink, but he is not playing that card, which I don't know what it is. I didn't get to see. He was keeping them pretty close. And now we have this Hades out there, and Shane is just drawing cards and saying, that was kind of scary, but I guess I'll keep going.
Yeah, Genie's going to come out again. Let's see, Hypnotic Strength feels really good on that Elephant. We're probably going to get a challenge here. We'll stack up those damage counters on Madam Mim Elephant for some shenanigans. And never mind, we're not going to challenge. We're just going to send it into the unknown, into the inkwell, and Madam Mim now Elephant questing up to 15. Up to 15?
Yeah, well, he was at 14.
I'm
so,
sorry.
Yeah.
I've been paying so much attention to like the Under the Sea and the Hades that I completely was ignoring the lore totals over there.
Well,
as he quested all the way up.
Traditionally 14 plus 1. But this John Silver's another darling we've saw in this meta, and I love seeing these legendaries from set 1 become the princesses of the ball again. So shout out to Princess John Silver here saying, hey, I'm going to give Reckless over here, menacing with his cyborg arm. Is it enough? I don't know. The second star to the right says, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw 5 cards. So into my hand they go. Into my hand. Nope, I couldn't do it. I tried to do it on the spot, but man, this card is such a backbreaker on this turn because it basically says, hey, you know how you've been fighting for your life to get me to run out of answers? I just got 5 more.
Absolutely. Back over to Daniel here. Now, of course, there are answers, 5 cards. Sometimes these deck run Bend My Will, sometimes they don't. We're not going to see it here. Visions of the Future, we'll take a look. There's another John Silver there that feels pretty good. We can give Reckless twice over there, force things to challenge in. There's a Basil there as well.
Could there be a Bend My Will? Someone said that in the chat, and that's such a good point because Shane just said, I got 5 cards. And it would be quite nice to say, no, you don't, but he's not going to do that. We're going to go
Reckless, Madam M Reckless.
Yeah, so not so bad there. John Silver changing the math, but man, what is that card? I feel like I don't know, but
could be a bend. The patience Daniel has shown so
he
far.
looks not stressed at all. My goodness, I'd be stressed to the moon based on this game. And Shane's kind of like, okay, and he's just keep going because honestly, one of the best things about playing Amethyst Sapphire is the fact that you're feeling pretty comfy on this end of the curve. You're drawing cards. You're coming up with answers. You got Elsa, Hades, also Elsa of another flavor. So we shall see. But he is developing a brain saying, yeah, I've got answers. But what about one more? And he is trying to. This is always terrible too. You're this late in the game and you look at your player or your opponent and they have what's the equivalent of an opening hand amount of cards. So here we go. We can do really anything we want as long as we have the cards to do it, and we're going to draw more cards.
Sweet. Yeah, Amethyst doing Amethyst things.
Yeah, they want to draw cards. I mean, we've talked about that all weekend, that, you know, why run Amethyst? Well, it draws cards, and drawing cards is good. You want to remove things, you want to draw cards, you want to get to 20 lore, and Amethyst does a pretty good job of all 3 of those things right now. So we are still on Shane's turn. He's saying, how many cards can I play in one turn? And the answer is a lot when you have infinite ink. He is going to start doing some challenging, making sure that Genie, or rather Genie and the elephant goes into one of the John Silvers. And why not put out one, two, three cheeky little 1-drops, or two 1 costs and 1 2 costs with Tipo.
Going wide here. Now, again, Daniel does have answers. We are at 16. Daniel does have some answers here. John Silver going to sing. Oh, here it's held high. And here it is, Under the Sea. It's the 1-2 combo. It's assembling the Be Prepared, as you call it, Katie. We've got to be prepared at home. It's called Heads Held High and Under the Sea, wiping the board there. I don't know how long. Is that one of those cards was probably the one that's been sitting in hand like all game long, just waiting for the moment. And there it is, empty board after drawing most everything out. There's not a lot left in Shane's hand. There's a couple cards here now, but the one thing Blurple can do, it has a really heavy top end, so there's a big card to answer.
Revenge is a dish served cold.
Right.
But this one is hot.
Card to send John Silver to the Inkwell. Hades in play now. Let's see what the answer is here. Is it another Hades? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is Hades on Hades.
Yeah.
Shiny Hades. I'll see your Hades. I'll show you a shiny Hades, sending Hades to the Inkwell. Now, Shaner does have 4 lore left to go. We've got the Iago in play. Daniel, plenty of hill to climb here still. We are in the Rockies, but back over to Shane again to see what the answer is. And is it another Haymaker? Is it another big card? He doesn't need to do much. Just stick a couple ink here. Daniel really needs to find a little bit more card draw, keep things going. Hypnotic Strength there will draw him a card. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and it's shout out here. We have a celebrity in the chat, Pandemonium Heart, who we saw running this Under the Sea. He actually played it Under the Sea. He went to the Georgia Aquarium and played it there. So it's quite the combo. But once again, it's something where it's tempo. It can stop your opponent from winning. But man, it's so frustrating against Blurple because they just keep answer after answer after answer. So we'll see if Shane can keep pulling it off. But in this case, we still have a Hades on board. He's come up with answers twice now. So what else can he do, in the words of Mirabelle, or not Mirabelle, her sister, Isabella?
Well, what else can I do? So here we have Iago's going to get that quest, get up to 17 lore here. We're going to play another one and just show game on board and say, hey, you have to answer one of my characters. They're all high willpower. Look at all that willpower over there. Plenty to deal with. Daniel doesn't have the answer. We're going to scoop and go on to game 2. My goodness. That's the thing with Amethyst. It draws so many cards. Second star to the right, you can wipe its board twice. And eventually, it's just going to keep putting out those high willpower characters to make you deal with them. And fantastic game there. Daniel showing incredible patience there at various points in time, doing kind of what he wants to do. But I do think the big issue for him, didn't find a ton of card draw, sitting on 1 or 2 cards all game long, and just never able to quite, push himself over the edge. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to lie, Katie. I was so focused on the board today, I completely missed the fact that Shane got all the way up to 15 lore there at the early game. Just turn after turn after turn.
As Joseph quickly of entered the battlefield, a Toronto, or I believe a Canada darling. I don't know if he was in Toronto proper, but he pointed out that Shane had a really nice start. I mean, Blurple, we say is a slow deck. He said slow where? He was able to have characters out there. He had that turn 1 Rafiki. He had Tipo out there, and it shows that having those early game presence, Shane probably knew there'd be some aggro out there today. He knew that there is times where you see Daniel's deck doing not a lot, trying desperately to get to that cool board wipe. So it does show that Daniel made choices, but every choice has a downside with decks like these. If you're trying to say, I have to get to this one thing, you might miss out on the whole questing part of it all.
Yeah, I mean, Blurple's openings are so good. I mean, I like hitting that turn 1 Basil. That turn 1 Freaky's just fine. That turn 1 play followed by the ramp, followed by the Genie. Or in this case, on the Dumbo, because I do think, again, I said it before, we don't like playing Dumbo on curve usually into the mirror because there's all sorts of things that it can do. But against this particular combo, I think it's fine to establish that on curve. And most likely it will stick around. You'll get to use it, before they find their answers. And yeah, I mean, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like into the Elsa, just had all the things.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something that I talked to Sailor last weekend at Charlie's Collectibles show, and we've seen Donald, Perfect Gentleman, come out, and he's a card we didn't see a ton of play prior to this set, and it's a card where he said, well, it's basically Clarabelle when I don't have Clarabelle. And it's something where in order for Clarabelle to be good, you have to first have her out there, then you need your opponent to have cards. And so sometimes against a deck like we saw with Skylar and Chaotic, or TFM Chaotic, if they're not drawing cards, then you're like, this is a bummer. So cards like Donald Duck can kind of help with that, making sure that there's cards available. And either way, you're drawing more cards as well, which you need. You need card draw. No matter what deck you're playing, you need cards.
Yeah, so Daniel here on the play. No play on turn 1 again. On the other side, Shainer's Edict. Shane going into that Basil on turn 1, a card that's, I think, really fun in this meta. That card is going to sit there for the next, like, 4 or 5 turns until we see it used at the right time.
The crock pot.
Turn 2, we are going to hit that ramp with Tipo, sending another card to the Inkwell here, right on schedule. Let's see if Shane can match.
Yeah, this is such a pivotal turn.
Yeah, pivotal turn.
Even more iconic duo.
It's yes or no. Do you have the ramp? Yes or no?
Oh, but do you have the promo Disneyland promo? Yes, but also a little bit of ramp. Now I think someone pointed out here that I believe Daniel did a full mulligan. So the fact that he hit ramp is probably because he's like, I don't have it, and it's pretty much the most important thing you can have in this deck. I would note,
yeah.
Because if you, especially in a matchup like this where one has Sapphire, if you're not keeping pace with another deck that also has it, truly heartbreaking. So now we're going to see, is he able to fire up like he did? And there we go. We got the Donald deck. Perfect, gentleman. He's about to take Daisy on a date. Not in this matchup, but he's a gentleman. He's going to get a gift for you and for himself.
Yeah, one for you, one for me. Also, pretty good stat line here on turn 4. That 5 willpower means he usually sticks around a little while. Usually there's the cards that you see later on in the game, too. It pairs really well with the Basil, where during your turn you give your opponent an extra card and then immediately make you discard it. So great to see it here on curve, though, or kind of interesting to see it here on curve. I do think it's one of those things where, Daniel's like, I know Amethyst is going to draw a ton of cards anyway.
Yeah.
I need to match with my own cards.
Whatever.
There we go.
Honestly, fair.
And perhaps, you drop a cheeky little Clarabelle here in a little bit to take advantage of your opponent's large hand size.
Cheeky. Shout out to anyone that uses the word cheeky. We're taking it. We're across the pond, and we're having fun with cheeky, and you can't have it back. We can share.
Oh, you cheeky fly.
Yep.
That's a quote.
That's a quote.
See if chat knows where that's from.
Cheeky fly.
You cheeky fly.
But there we go. It is a foil Dumbo worth $4 million on the today's market. We've seen Dumbo, like I've said many, many times. You don't see Dumbo, and you're like, it's over. Dumbo's here. But it is something that fuels the deck it is in, and it's probably going to fuel here. Now, it doesn't get to do as many cool things, not on curve, but he's there. He's menacing, and he's saying, Daniel, are you scared? And he might be. Maybe not, because he's got more tricks up his sleeve, and we're about to see one now as he goes ahead and plays Clarabelle, the shift target, but not the one cost, a little bit, or rather, is that the one cost? No, 2 costs.
3.
3, why not? We'll go up to 3 here with that Clarabelle. It kind of doubles your bets because shifting Clarabelle. Okay, we'll actually do both.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Holy cow.
I do appreciate that. Yeah, double bovines here. So we're gonna. This gives it double. It also kind of makes it where Shane has to say, "Well, I have to target one of those Clarabelle because you're gonna." Does this telegraph he is going to shift Clarabelle no matter what? Maybe, but even if it telegraphs it, then it is something where he's not super afraid because he has 2 right now, and there's not a ton of easy double removal like that unless he can sing. He's gonna have a hard time getting rid of both.
Yeah, so going wide here, yeah, definitely threatening those shift targets there. Looks like we're considering a quest with Tipo.
Yeah, is that wrong lever? I don't know what that is in the top card.
So you're welcome.
Oh, you're welcome. I knew it was something enchanted. I'm like, it could not be wrong lever. That would make any sense. But yeah, you're welcome.
Here we go.
You're going to draw 2 cards and get rid of that card.
Yeah, so here, sending that Dumbo back, saying, hey, I'd rather you not get 1 card off that Dumbo instead. I mean, you can get 2 cards off this. You're welcome.
It's kind of a hedging your bets here.
Yeah, kind of telegraphing here which way, what we're going to see next turn.
I like cards.
Yeah, Daniel looking, building up Shaner's hand a little bit here, or Shane's hand a little bit here, probably in preparation for that Clarabelle shift. The thing with the Donald is if you're worried that is coming, Donald says you may draw a card. Your welcome forces Shane to draw 2 cards. So, yeah, probably gonna see another bigger cow here.
Bigger cow, bigger problems, more card draw. You love to see it.
So back over to Shaner here. Has some cards. He does have that Genie he could play, but again, would draw a card. Instead, we're going to get that Elsa, exert that Clarabelle. Probably going to finish it off here in short order. There it goes. We do leave that 1/3 cost still up, though. Nothing to be done about it. And back over to Daniel. Let's see if we do see that shift. Daniel says, I am going to draw a card off this Donald. And looking, Shane seems like it opts not to draw a card off the Donald. Probably know why. Here's why. That shift Clarabelle comes in the beautiful enchanted version here. Let's see if we can get a count here at the end of the turn how many cards Shaner has in hand that he's going to be giving Daniel. I would say we're not. We're going to Under the Sea, coming in immediately, clearing the board there. And Shaner's just going to scoop everything because he says, well, you know what? Let's go on.
I'm tired.
You just sent my whole deck under the sea, back inside. That's it. We're going to move on. You know, old Magic player here knows when the writing's on the wall, and we're going to see a game 3, folks.
Yeah, we've seen the tale of two stories. Wait, did we just see Daniel smile? Have we seen that?
No, that's the first
yeah,
time.
I didn't. He's been so serious, and he looks like a completely different demeanor here. He's like hee 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 hee. Like we were waiting. He's hoping to get the hee hees out the first round, but now we've seen the illustrious rare Daniel T hee hees. So shout out on that beautiful, beautiful play line.
Yeah.
And now we get to see both have done the cool thing. Now it's game 3. Both of them would really like to do the cool thing into day 2. So here we go on game 3 of round 8.
Yeah, Daniel starting with 1 lore there.
Smart, honestly, a smart way to do it.
Why not? Yeah, it's a funny game though, or interesting game because it's really funny. When that Donald Duck comes out on turn 4, you're really telegraphing what your game plan is. You're like basically letting him know, hey, look, I'm playing Clarabelle in like 3 turns here. Just so you know, I'm gonna play Clarabelle. I'm gonna give you some cards. You can take a few extra cards.
I'm letting you know this is going to happen.
It's coming. I'm not going to play 1 target. I'm going to play 2 shift targets in the same turn.
Yeah.
And there goes. Like
it's the element of surprise and the element of menacing.
Just the whole way.
I'm going to menace.
Sort of Damocles hanging over the head there. So
yeah.
anyway.
And I mean, it's so fun to watch really good players because they're smiling because they both have played both these games. They both knew that this was going to be in the room. They both know they're counter picking each other in other ways. So knowing that Shane, you might go, well, wasn't that kind of giving up? Maybe, but he's looking at statistics. He's saying, what, there's a 5 chance, 10 chance I can claw my way out of this, and then we might even go to time. Then he says, no, let's go to game 3. I'm confident in my deck. I know I can do it. I did it game 1. Let's do it in game 3.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, Daniel's deck and these Emerald Sapphire decks are built to do this exact thing. Sometimes you run Bend, sometimes you don't to punish your opponent after you draw those cards. Some decks don't. What they do is they just get that Clarabelle in play, and the deck is designed to be able to dump like cards into your hand out fast. It's designed to play cards like You're Welcome to force your opponent to draw more cards. And as Shaner's pursuing his win condition by drawing cards, trying to find the things that he needs, he just gets punished for it because he's in Daniel more. So writing on the wall there. And tick-tock, tick-tock. We're on to game 3, developing his brain there on turn 1. And then over to Daniel. Let's see if we see a turn 1 play here in game 3.
Yeah, and I'm trying to put out some feelers.
That Basil has been inked 3 games in a row on turn 1.
Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not. And there's some cards, like, I remember when I used to have, like, Maleficent Dragon in my deck. I'm like, always ink on my opening hand. If I have her, sorry, I can't think about turn 9 right now. That's so far from now.
Yeah.
And Basil is a different one where if you have it, nice. But if it's ink, I'll worry about it later. But here we go. Inking Hypnotic Strength. I'm playing a Hypnotic Strength.
Yeah,
to draw a card.
Now, we talked about the importance of ramp, like how it completely changes the game.
That's
the sound you make when you miss it. Not finding it with the develop. I mean, the odds on not finding it on the mulligan and not finding it with the developer brain really low. So playing a Hypnotic Strength, hoping to find something here because there's nothing else to be done. And here Daniel's hitting it. So we're going to see the dichotomy here. Daniel kind of stealing a march on the play, but now with the ink advantage. Back over to Shaner. Let's see what he does here after missing that critical turn 2 play.
Yeah, now we did see him ink Count Sell Die, which is a pretty important combo, especially against some of those beefy ones, but we have seen Under the Sea being pretty powerful without it. So it's not the worst thing, and that Basil is a terrible, I'm sorry, it's not what you want to see by itself on turn 3.
No, and look at the inefficiency here, too. 2 ink left standing up. With that Basil being played there. And on the other side, Daniel T. We saw this last game, the same line here with Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman coming into play. Again, telegraphing, you know what my game plan is. You can take some extra cards. You might be punished for it later. Shaner here playing the Iago on turn 4. No Genie either, so it's a big body, but not giving him a card to get him into the endgame here. So I do see the Elsa in hand there, though. That's what you want to play on turn 5. You ideally like to play it on turn 4 if you hit the ramp. But, Daniel's doing what he wants to do. Shaner definitely a step behind.
Well, and that's such a bummer because honestly, we've seen players play well. We've seen players do things we don't understand, but this is a player going, I'm scared. I don't have what I need. And that's kind of the thing that we love about TCGs is the variance of it all. I don't know if Shane loves it right now, but it is kind of that fun where, I mean, you can play your deck perfectly, but then sometimes your deck says, I'm mad at you. And we don't know why. It's not his fault.
Yeah,
it just happens.
The cards don't like you today. So here, fun line of play here. We did play Heads Held High. That choosing that parrot is going to send that away to its banish ability. And then Tipo gave you some ink earlier. He's going to give you even more ink now as Pleakley comes into play, turning Tipo into another ink in the inkwell. Visions of the Future being played following that, allowing Daniel to dig 5 cards deeper and look for what he wants to do in the late game. I do see a John Silver there. I do see Clarabelle. I think that might be an Under the Sea. When it's foil, sometimes it's hard to see. But snapping a card up there, and really, it's just a tale of like this is TCGs. Sometimes the cards give you what you need, and sometimes they take
Sometimes
it
they
away.
embarrass you. Like
Hope.
sometimes you want to like look at your cards and be like, all of you have to be. I have to buy a new deck. These cards have embarrassed me. They've hurt me in ways I don't want to talk about. And now, mind you, Daniel's not doing the craziest stuff in the world over here. That's the thing that's kind of frustrating. Is sometimes you're like, well, look how bad it's at, but you look over there like, oh, Daniel's not really doing that much over there either. So that's the one
Yeah.
thing you can hope for is if you're having a bad time, you can hope your opponent's also having a bad time. Now, Daniel's not having a miserable time by any means, but it is certainly something that can keep you hopeful. Is like, well, I just need you to not do great, and
Yeah.
it's an option.
Well, Daniel, I think he's been definitely doing what he wants to do. The difference here is that in Amethyst Sapphire, you can squeak out lore throughout the game. You play cards like the 2 lore genies, and you're slowly accumulating lore, as Shanner did in game 1. Before you know it, at 15 lore. These Emerald Sapphire decks aren't designed to do that necessarily. Always, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm
Lord.
sorry. I
Hey,
was distracted
Shane.
here. Before Into the Unknown on his own character, sending it into the inkwell to get extra ink. Probably sitting on some expensive stuff, maybe a Hades in there. Just this is the first time I think I've
I
ever
don't
seen
think
a
I've ever
player
seen
into
someone-
the unknown, their own character for ink
sacrifice.
advantage.
I'm trying not. It's like you don't like it, right? You ramp. You want value when you're ramping. That's why we have Tipo on a body. That's why we have card draw with ramp. We've never seen you have to pay to ramp by doing that. That hurts. And here we go.
Oh.
And it's gonna hurt even more.
Yeah, and I mean, just unfortunately, I mean, Shaner hasn't been able to do much. He's got a decent sized hand. Daniel's going to get a couple cards off of it, but not a ton because Shaner just hasn't been able to play anything to draw any cards. But here we go. We are getting to turn 7 here, so any like Hades that's been clunking around in his hand for a while will be available if we drew into an inkable. So perhaps there is a way to kind of claw your way back in, but you really need to deal with that Clarabelle. Bell heading into the inkwell. There's that Hades, probably been sitting like a rock in his hand since the early game. So we'll send that to the inkwell. Back over to Daniel. We do have that Donald Duck there. We'll see if Shane chooses to take a card off of it. Shane will, as will Daniel, take that extra card. Hoping to find some sort of answers here. Now, again, to your point, Katie, though, he's not like out of it. Like he's having a really miserable time so far. But this Sapphire Emerald deck does not close very fast.
No.
It really is designed to kind of shut you down and then just outvalue you through the Clarabelle and turn that engine on in the late game. So hasn't been able to close much. We'll see if he can build up a little bit of a board state here.
Yeah,
Let's wait to see what happens.
He's got a lot of cards,
Visions
though.
of
That's
the
the thing,
future.
great. And it's always so interesting when you're like, he's got so many cards, and he keeps sticking for more. I'm like, what are you looking for? You're scaring me so bad right now. Especially because like Shane's like, I've been through so much. What are you trying to put me through now? But we've got Bleakley, we've got Donald Duck, Perfect Gentleman. We have a total of 4 inks still sitting there ready to do something here. And yeah, I mean, it's hard because I mean, Shane's sitting there. He's got the face of a person like, come on, this is my last game maybe, and my deck is doing this to me. Now, that being said, he's still obviously going to play. He's a bounty player, so it's very fun. No, I don't think he's having a lot of fun right now, but it could be interesting to see how these games can go. But yeah, I'm hoping Shane gets something here next turn that makes him feel a little bit like he played this game.
Here we have another Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman. Again, looking for that extra Clarabelle. We'll put that shift target into play, just threatening that shift. I'm trying to see, is that the, no, this is your welcome. We're going to send Hades back to the deck for Shane to draw another 2 cards, building up a sizable hand there, just threatening that Clarabelle. I tried to see it. I'm sure Chad has seen by now, but I tried to see if that Clarabelle was in hand. I couldn't. There isn't enchanted in there. No, it was the you're welcome. But definitely threatening it. Let's see.
Yeah, now we have the thing that can be really scary. We've seen a lot of matches where I go wide and then you go wide. But if your opponent's going wide and you are not, it can be a lot more stressful, a lot less fun, because now you're at the point where you're going, okay, I'm scared. I don't have answers. I don't have board wipes. Now, Daniel does have board wipes. You have to spend a ton of money, and by money, I mean ink, to do it. But I think Shane is saying, I got to get some answers. I got to get them fast. I'm trying to think what could turn this around.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I think you're thinking the same thing.
The problem is there's just not a lot of wide removal. And
Yes.
this is the problem that Blurple has with Amethyst Steel oftentimes, where Amethyst Steel can string together a few docks and just dump everything on the board. There's lots of there are lots of catch-up options like this, for example, a great card to have here. Elsa, establish a body, do a little bit of removal, but you're really dealing with one, and maybe in a perfect world you're dealing with 2 cards per turn. So into the unknown there. With the Elsa, it's a good sequence.
I mean, that was a pretty great turn. I mean,
Yeah, it actually was.
He did a lot of work with not a lot on his side, and he's got a pretty full can. So that's the one thing is if you have a pretty slow start, you got cards. He didn't play them. So that's the
That's
one thing
true.
that could be kind of nice is you haven't been playing cards, which means later you'll have some. But Daniel has 4 cards in hand. Oh wait, he's doing it. Oh, we got Baymax Universal Shift. We have
Let's see, he wants to have, if you could find the
gotta stop chaos in
Basil
his
here.
tracks.
Stop chaos in his tracks. If you could find the Basil here, it would be good. Or even a Johnson. Like anything you can establish on the board to quest for 2 at this point. You need to start to close this game down.
Yeah. So this is where things get a little bit.
It is the Baymax Universal Shift not shifting here, just dropping on the board for full
Why
value. And
not?
another Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman. Again, you're giving cards here to your opponent. You're getting cards. It's great for that. But it's 2 lore. And that's what Daniel needs to do at this point is start establishing a bunch of characters to close this thing out. Because the longer this goes, the more you give Shane a chance to start dumping some of its big-bodied Amethyst characters on board. The fact that like this game is still going on is fascinating. I don't think I've ever seen a worse opening from a Blurple deck trying to get into the end game here. At least this season in these versions of Blurple, this is the worst I've ever seen.
It's a notable opening. It's a notable. I'll put this with an interesting openings that I don't know if Shane will talk about in a happy way, but we can say that we have seen Shane say, okay, what about this? And the thing that Daniel's hoping on is Blurple has stall techniques. Blurple has tempo moves. They have all sorts of control gadgets and gadgets. Can you do it over and over again? That's the hard part. You could do it once. We saw him do some cleanup, but he has to do cleanup over and over and over. Keeping in mind that Daniel hasn't even deployed his under the sea, heads held high shenanigans that he loves to do with this deck.
Yeah, let's see what we have here is another Elsa. It is another Elsa. We're going to exert the Donald. Now, it could do... So here's an interesting thing. Like, you want to do some cleanup here in theory. It does open you up to the crackback, but the double Elsas can't... Oh, there we're going to go. We're going to exert it into the unknown. I think that's the 3rd that we've seen. And then we are going to double challenge the Pleakley. It does invite the crackback here, but the thing for Daniel is like he really has to respond to these Elsas because second star to the right is a thing. And so although he wants to be questing and with that Baymax kind of closing things out, he really has to respond to one of these Elsas with one of these characters or both.
He says, listen, I got Bobby. I'm going to draw a card, discard a card. I quite love that card, the Leaning Tower of Jesus. But man, he's just cool as a cucumber again. Stop Chaos in his track is being played. I'm not sure where it went. It went to the Shadow Realm over there, which I assume that's where his discard is. That's he's choosing discard Chaos in his track. And that makes sense because honestly, I don't want Elsa back to my hand in any world. You can keep it right where it is. So that's going to go ahead. And then he says, I have the song. I'm going to sing it with 2 guys. It's Under the Sea.
The seaweed is always greener on the bottom of your opponent's deck. At least for you.
So
I think this is the 4th Perfect Gentleman we've seen.
he's not very nice, honestly.
I know. Under the Sea being hit here, clearing Shaner's board again. And it's back over to him, see if he can rebuild a little bit. That's now 7 lore on Daniel's side of the board. Really, Shane needs to find a response here. Looks like a Hades possibly coming in here. There it is. We're going to send that Donald, the upright Donald, into the Inkwell. Ink of Basil into the unknown. That's the 4th into the unknown we've seen, I think. 3 being played on Daniel, 1 being played on Shane's own character. So now we've established Hades into the unknown. It's a great answer, but it's Hades for Hades. We saw that last game. We saw this in Sapphire and Sapphire all the time. The shinier Hades coming down, cleaning up his less shiny cousin, sending it into the Inkwell there, and it's back over to Shane for the response. Daniel clawing his way up to 8 at this point, and just again, there's a lot of big-bodied things, just not a lot of wide removal. Develop your brain here. Perhaps we can string together some genies, go wide a little bit. I did see a genie off the top deck there. So I think that might have been the card that he took. It is. We're going to see that played here. There comes the genie, draw a card.
Yeah, and shout out to Shane for staying in this. I mean, by the skin of his teeth. But he's drawing cards. He's got ink. He's doing stuff. But, man, how tired must you be at this point where you're like, all right, you did it again. But he's staying in, and he's about to drop down.
Finders Keepers. Now, this is a card. Some people have started to work this out because it usually feels bad taking 5 ink off in a particular turn to draw 3 cards. But I think powerful play here. It does leave Daniel over there with 5 lore on the board. That'll send him up to 13. But drawing 3 cards here is certainly a way to find your way back into it. Plenty of ink if you find the answers. No more into the unknowns left, I think. So you're looking for perhaps another Hades. An Elsa. I mean, you need a Hypnotic Strength plus an Elsa. You need some things. Daniel here using those bobbies to cycle through the top of his deck, drawing and discarding something. I'm not sure what that was. But we are going to see double quest here, triple quest there with that Bobby. 5 lore all the way up to 13. And let's see if there's anything to use this mountain of ink on. Doesn't look like it.
Wild.
Back over to Shane.
Ink everywhere, but not a game to win, question mark? That'd be my newspaper headline. Because he has a lot of ink, he has a lot of cards, but he doesn't have a lot of time. Because Daniel is sitting here with a comfortable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the board. That is not a game win, but he could universal shift. There's another Baymax in there. He could have game on board. So Shane knows he needs to do some work here. He needs to build his board. We see Monster on the board. That is because we talked about that a few times last week. We even saw a few decks run it.
Does Shane
It's
run it?
one option. It's not clean. It's really expensive, and that might be why he played Finders Keeper. But I don't know. I haven't seen him play it, and I haven't seen a lot of people play it because it's pretty expensive. Takes a lot of work.
I did see somebody play it earlier today. I can't remember who it was.
A genius. A whale of a tail, it sounds like.
So let's. It is an answer. It's the production here pulling that up because I think it's the only wide removal answer that a lot of these Blipper decks run. There's that Basil coming out. Oh, we're exerting a lot of ink. I don't think that's 8. It's the that's a great card there. It's not removal, but it will pause things a little bit. Elsa, Spirit of Winter coming down, a reprint from set 1. He's gonna exert, or she's gonna exert that Hades and that Baymax. We're going to pause things a little bit. That Genie will challenge into that Bobby, so you've kind of locked things down a little bit this turn, giving yourself another chance to find something. And Daniel, I mean, again, Daniel down to 1 card, I think, here. He's been cycling. He's been looking, just having trouble closing. It's another Bobby. Going to draw a card, discard a card. I think that's 3 or 4 we've seen there. And the Clarabelle coming down, and Shane has cards in hand. Daniel does not, so we will see some draw out of that. 1 lure off that Bobby. And end of turn here, 1, 2, 3 cards in hand. It says you draw, you Finders Keepers. I can do that too.
Yeah, anything you can do, I can do. That's it. And so he goes ahead and draws some cards. And now we've seen this a few times where Shane says, wait. I have something. How do you feel about this? And Daniel goes, very good, very scary. I liked it, but do it again. And he's done it over and over again. Can he do it one more turn? And that is what we're about to find out.
Yeah, that Clarabelle feels really impactful here. I'm not sure if he found it off the Bobby. Well, probably found it off the Bobby. And fantastic draw here, getting those 3. Like, crucial card to find, I think, in this scenario. Because he's just given Shane just a bit of a window to come back here.
Yeah.
But, let's see. Develop your brain. I really want to know if Monster's being run here. Like,
I do love when we get to the phase.
If he drops a Monstro and uses that to clear a bunch of the board and stay in this game, I will get up and run around this interview booth and sit back down.
And honestly, he might do that anyway. Liam the more tired he gets, the more he might be running around. He's been wearing this. I need you to know, guys, we haven't been on camera for a while. He's still wearing the Stitch gloves. There's no reason for it.
These are my hands.
Liam is built so different. He's
These are my hands. I don't know.
Yeah, when he says he's gonna run around, believe it. But here we go. Is he about to show us a whale of a tail? Probably not. Maybe. Well, that was a lot of ink he just exerted. It's Elsa.
That's Elsa, the 5th Spirit. Going to exert that Clarabelle here. Feels pretty good. Getting it off the board would be big, but there's a lot of willpower out there right now. A lot of lore. Let's see the best way to do this. That support is available from that Basil. Will allow us to make decent trade here, but
yeah, that is.
Just waiting to see Shane thinking this through. We have 12 minutes, plenty of time to think through this turn. That's 2. Is that a Hypnotic Strength? It is. Where's that going? On the Elsa. Spirit of Winter. Draw a card.
Yeah, and Shane is in the think tank, the battle tank, whatever you call it. He's in the tank, and he's saying, I'm going to work as hard as I can. I have to do some cleaning here. I don't have the beefiest characters on the board. Let's just call it like it is. Now he has support. He has Elsa. She's still not really super strong. He can quest for 1 to go to 2. Give that 2 to Elsa at 4 or 5 now. She can do she can get rid of a Bobby, and they can maybe go together to work on some Hades here.
Yeah, but attractive target for that Hades there. That very strong willpower, that 3 strength, not enough to remove either one of those characters on the challenge here. Great cleanup. But 4 lore left.
Yeah, and that's still stressful because going to 18 is still, he's found so many answers. So shout out to Shane for saying, wait, I have something to show you. He shows it and then passes the turn and says, okay, I just have to do that one more time.
4 lore left. 3 cards in hand off that Clarabelle. Let's see.
I think I saw a sale in there, so he might draw them cards. He's got.
Big, it's a Hades.
And that's rough.
That feels really bad. And the Clarabelle 1-2 punch. Is that the uppercut? Is that the knockout blow? It might be. Going to quest into that, or challenge into the Basil, remove that from the board. Now we're up to 17, I believe, on that quest. Just a lot of lore on the board.
Yeah.
And even. Let's see what we can do here.
Concern casting noises is what you're hearing here.
Yeah,
just concern casting, because I mean, man, he can draw cards. He can, but eventually, right? Your card only has, or deck can have up to 4 of each answer. We've seen him use his Elsa's, his Hades, his Into the Unknowns. We saw him Into the Unknown himself. This man has been an improvisational TCG master. However, he's had to do it so many turns.
I think it's another Hades. Now you need to remove 3 characters here. We have Hades, that's 1, but that's a good chunk of ink that Clarabelle is going to go into the inkwell, and just it's a lot of ink though. It's a good start. Let's see. The bell will shift some damage over, and we'll challenge. That's 1-2. What do we have?
What's it? Oh, that's that.
Oh man!
That's
oh
20.
my goodness! I thought he might have squeaked out another turn. My goodness! What a run he gave Daniel here, forcing him to really work that out after just a terrible opening, an absolutely abysmal opening for Blurple. He was looking for the ramp. He didn't find the ramp. Would develop your brain, then a hypnotic strength just to draw a card